Speaking of Mustangs, we watched Lord of the Rings, which has a horde of it. That was a stretch.
This is so stupid!
You're like, go. Yeah, I totally made that up. We need to find a new game. I don't mean that to trick you. I'm just like, that's surprising.
That's exactly what it's meant for!
I like it when it's just, there's a bad guy, and he's bad. Just eat cheese.
Man.
Yeah. This is a good morning on this particular morning. A little nipply out. I mean, nippy.
I can't breathe.
Really? Oh, wait.
I'm not that in. Magic chair.
Welcome everybody to the second episode of this mini-series I'm calling Pocket Reviews. This is a show where I, your host, Andrew Luttrell, will be watching a movie, giving a short 15 to 20 minute long review, and most of the time, sharing my thoughts with a guest. This guest will be sharing their thoughts and opinions about this movie as well. While this is not a Patreon exclusive mini-series, this show is brought to you by Talk This Way Podcast's Patreon. For those of you who don't know, Patreon is a place where people can go to support their favorite creators while getting awesome benefits in return. By joining one of the tiers that your creator offers, you will get different benefits. For example, the Talk This Way Podcast Patreon tier for $3 a month, otherwise known as the J.J. Abrams tier, will give you early access to content, discount codes for merch, special Patreon shoutouts, and a few stickers. This is just one of the 5 different tiers that the Talk This Way Podcast Patreon has to offer you. Be sure to check it out. And if you enjoy our content and want to help support us, and also get awesome exclusives, then follow the link in the bio of the episode. So the movie that we're talking about today is Free Guy 2021, produced mostly by Ryan Reynolds, even though there were a couple other producers. This is a Ryan Reynolds movie for sure. It's a lot like Deadpool in the comedy aspect, but it's a lot better. A lot better than Deadpool. For those of you who have not seen Deadpool or know what I'm talking about, essentially it is a action sci-fi, not really sci-fi, it's action comedy, if that makes sense. So it's got, some violence, but also some comedic elements, and then also the story is really good. With that being said about the story, here is a short story summary from IMDb, and when I say short, it's very short. A bank teller discovers that he's actually an NPC inside a brutal, open-world video game. That story summary does not give this movie justice. Even if you haven't seen it, that would be so, you'd read that and go, man, this movie sounds really boring. So I want to give you a better story summary of Free Guy, but I do have to say it's a spoiler, because in order to really give a good description of this movie, you have to spoil some things. Now, I'm not going to spoil any of the big things per se, but I am going to spoil some things. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, please go watch it, because it is such a good watch. If you're listening to this review to decide to watch it, just know that I am about to spoil some things. But here's a much better story summary of Free Guy 2021. Ryan Reynolds' character, the bank teller, lives his life the same every day. He wakes up, gets a cup of coffee, and goes to work at the bank. Every day, the bank gets robbed. Why, you ask? Because this bank, and this world, takes place inside a video game called Free City. The bank teller, or blue shirt guy, which is Ryan Reynolds' character, is an NPC in this crazy open-world GTA ripoff game. It's not until a female player character walks by him that he turns from an NPC into an AI. The reason for this is because the game's developer, Antoine, stole another game's code, which was about a world being able to grow and learn on its own. This game's creator, Keys, currently works for Antoine as a coder for Free City. Once the real world sees that Blue Shirt Guy's an NPC doing things on his own, it is up to Keys and his co-game creator, Millie, to rescue the game from total server shutdown and the extermination of not only the proof that their game was stolen, but also the creation of artificial intelligence. Isn't that way better? I mean, even if you haven't seen it, you're like, oh my gosh, wait, what? What is this movie? It's incredible. This movie was released on August 13th, 2021, and unfortunately, IMDb has no box office, budget information. So the budget has not been released to the public yet because of how new it is. However, the gross USA, it made $37 million. Opening weekend, it made $28 million. So the gross worldwide, it made $59 million. So as soon as we figure out how much the budget was, which I'm assuming was a lot, you can determine whether that made its money back or not. What band would you be embarrassed to admit that you listened to?
I wouldn't be embarrassed to listen to anything that I listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would say I'm pretty embarrassed to admit that I listen to Taylor Swift.
Oh, I'm
every
not
now and
embarrassed
again.
about that.
Well, yeah. So what's a band that you would be?
I mean, I don't think I have one.
Okay. What's your favorite band then?
A favorite band?
Yeah. Or artist?
Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Have I heard that? Mm-hmm. Is it a girl?
No.
It's a band of a group of people?
It's a guy. I think it's a guy.
Okay.
I don't know if it's... I would assume it's a band because they have all sorts of music.
Yeah.
And all sorts of music, all sorts of sounds.
Yeah,
like
it's probably a band, but it's an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think... Have I heard songs by him before?
Yeah.
You play him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here and there. I don't think...
Okay.
He plays that song where it's like, is she really going out with him?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good band. That's a really good band. You obviously know mine already.
I don't remember his name at this point. Don't give me any hints. Don't give me any hints. You want to go see him in concert?
Yeah.
But
he wouldn't be very entertaining.
I have a coworker, not a friend. Coworker, not a coworker either.
An ex-coworker?
No, we never worked together. She was just on my Instagram.
Oh.
Because she did a podcast herself, and I actually like her podcast.
Are you saying you don't like mine?
I do like your podcast.
I'm like, you're on mine.
What is his name?
His first name starts with a J.
Do you know Hammerschmidt?
No. John Mayer.
Oh, yeah. Why did it sound like I smoked for decades?
I'm surprised you don't know.
Man, yeah, that makes total sense.
I'm surprised you don't know my favorite artist's name. I think you did. You were just nervous.
I did. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it. It was on the top of my tongue. I just couldn't say it.
The top of your tongue. Not the tip. The top. That's funny. Me and my girlfriend Julia here went and saw Free Guy together. We actually went with a group of people. Brandon, who was on this the previous episode about the Suicide Squad that just came out. And then my other co-host Ethan and his girlfriend. Yeah, so we went to see Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. That was a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I'm glad that we went.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'm glad that we went with that group of people.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. It was fun. It was a fun experience.
I liked all the commentary. Even though I personally don't like people talking during movies,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, Brandon and I, we sat next to each other, and we were pretty quiet, but there were two people behind us that were drinking, like heavily drinking something very strong because we could smell it, and they just were laughing at every little thing. I mean, they were drunk, so, me and him kept talking about that, but but yeah, Ethan, I know, made comments throughout the whole movie, which was funny. So what were your thoughts on the movie? As in, like, what did you think about it?
It had a pretty, it was a pretty good plot. Like, the movie altogether was pretty well made.
Yeah, I agree. I was really surprised by, like, I thought for sure that this was going to be, like, some, I don't know. It's a movie about a video game, and most of those end up being really bad.
Well, I don't know. Ready
aren't good.
Player One wasn't...
That's true.
Awful.
That's true. That was really that movie was really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
And that was about video games, but that was more, I think, more about virtual reality and like living in a virtual world rather than a specific video game.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed, that movie didn't do too well. The Mortal Kombat movies have not done well, except for the newest one that just came out. That one wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily about a video game, like in a movie, whatever. It was a theme, the same theme. Anyway, but this movie did a really, really good job at being a video game movie without sacrificing quality in the plot and the character development. Like, there was a really, really good plot. There was a really, really good twist, kind of in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
That, like, made me super excited for the latter half, which I think I already said previously in this episode that this is a spoiler. But basically it's like the guy, the blue shirt guy, finds out that he's in a video game and that he was created by the guy who works for the company that made that video game. But the guy that works for that company is the guy who made that part of the game, because was it Taika Waititi's character? What was his name? Antoine.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Antoine. So he works for Antoine, but Antoine stole his IP. Yeah, right. You have a millennial name. So anyway, all that being said, really good plot. Character development was really good. Ryan Reynolds obviously he's one of those actors that is the same in all of his movies, but it's good. It's not bad. The lead female, I forget the actress's name, but she was Millie, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Millie. She did a good job too, just in her acting abilities. That was obviously, Taika Waititi was Antoine, and he's an amazing actor anyway. And what's funny is that, like, I think 50% of his stuff that he did was all improvised. Like, Taika Waititi, like the whole sitting on the ground and like jumping up and everything, nobody knew that was happening. He just did that, which is why you can see some of the people in the background. I looked this up. They're like trying to hold in their laughter because they had to retake that twice because the first time he did it, everybody busted out laughing. It was so funny. So what was your favorite scene? I had a couple.
Yeah, I had a couple.
There were some really, really good ones.
One of my favorite ones was Millie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her gamer character's name.
I think it was Molotov.
Yeah, maybe.
Molotov 26 or something like that.
When she was outside of where she needed to go in to get the code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Outside the facility?
Outside the facility. He just popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
what are you looking at?
Right. And then when he went into the bank and he was trying to get his best friend.
Yeah.
To put on the sunglasses, and the guy came in and he was going to shoot up the place, and he just grabbed his
shotgun, yeah.
Shotgun, and then took off his sunglasses, and he was like, okay, I can't do anything. I'm not cool anymore.
There was one, oh yeah. Again, spoiler, but my favorite part was probably when he got Captain America's shield, and then Chris Evans, the actor who plays Captain America in Avengers movie or all the Marvel movies, he's sitting there watching the live stream that is obviously playing this video game on his phone, and it zooms out, and he looks at the phone, and he's just like, "What the shit?" Oh my gosh! So yeah, who's your favorite character?
Obviously Ryan Reynolds, but I also liked...
That's okay.
I liked the female role.
Yeah.
I liked her character and her personality.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that during the whole process, she was just trying to get her game back.
Yeah. And
then she realized that the game that they had created was about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that was, again, spoiler, but that was like a super cool twist. In the process of developing that game, he basically created that AI as a love note to her. And she didn't realize until the very end when she was talking to the AI guy, Ryan Reynolds' character. He was like, "I'm just a love note. Somebody wrote me, even if it's just in my program." Because they did. They fell in love a little bit. Mm-hmm. But obviously he's AI, so it doesn't work.
It's funny because that's reality. Like, it happens all the time.
People who play video games too much tend to...
Oh, well, I wasn't talking about falling in love with the AI.
Oh, really? What were you talking about? I misread that completely. What were you talking about?
I was talking about the fact that two people can be so close. A guy best friend and a girl best friend. And the guy best friend has a crush on the girl best friend the whole time.
She doesn't know.
And she has no clue. But no, that actually, it's going back to the AI thing. Ethan made a comment in the movie theater where he was like, "Oh yeah, no, dating in video games is completely different from dating, in real life."
Just in real life, yeah.
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 And I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit this one out.
I don't think he ever did. So this is the kind of the big question, because a lot of these Ryan Reynolds movies, people will say like, oh, they were so funny, they're great, but they don't have a lot of rewatchability in the sense of like I know people that will only watch Deadpool or a movie like Deadpool once. They're like, it's too crude, it's too crass, not, well, I mean, whatever.
That depends on the people that you hang around.
Right, and that's true. So that's what I'm at. Like, would you watch this movie again?
Yeah.
Having gone and seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
A handful of times.
Do you like the first one more than the second one, or do you like the second one more?
I like the second one more. Yeah,
so you would watch this again. I totally will. I don't know if I'll watch it again in theaters, but I will definitely own this movie. Because it's really, really good in the sense of the storyline, the plot. This movie's really, really good. I'll definitely own it when it comes out. But
I liked how it added, like, the gamer. I'm totally not a gamer, so I'm totally gonna mess this up. But the gamer guys.
Oh, the YouTubers?
Yeah, the YouTubers.
Yeah, Jacksepticeye was in it. Ninja was in it.
Ninja, actually, he was on one of the singing things on TV, and I think he lost. But anyways, he can sing. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Like on The Voice?
No, it was the Masks something.
Oh, I gotcha. He hid his identity. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's fun. So you liked all the YouTubers being in there?
Yeah, I liked all the YouTubers being in there because it like, they made it
more
to
real.
where it was like a real video game.
Yeah.
And it can relate to a lot of people.
Yeah.
More than one way.
Mm-hmm. It was funny too because they were streaming on YouTube, which if anybody knows anything about YouTubers, PewDiePie is the only one that streams on YouTube.
Yeah,
as far as like big YouTubers. Jacksepticeye's on Twitch. Ninja has never streamed on YouTube. He started on Twitch, I'm pretty sure, and then went to making YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure he's mainly on Twitch. And then whatever that chick's name was, she's a very popular Twitch streamer. And she was on Twitch the whole time.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was funny. Well, thank you for being on.
You.
I want to give you guys the Rotten Tomatoes rating of this movie. Now, a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies don't get great Rotten Tomato, like Tomato Meter, like the critic reviews. They don't get great just because of Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, a lot of the movies that he's in and the movies that he makes or produces or whatever you want to call it, are tailored to making fun of the critics, if that makes sense. He's very much about breaking the fourth wall and, doing all of those things. So critics usually don't give him a good score. However, because of the story of this movie and a lot of the other correspondence with this movie, I think the media or the rating, the percentage rating that the Rotten Tomatoes critics gave this movie is fair and actually is pretty good for what it is. So the Tomato Meter, which is the critics, gave an 82%, while the audience gave a 95%, which audience doesn't surprise me. I feel like that should have been a good score regardless. But the Tomato Meter surprised me because I was like, most of the time those get pretty crappy percentages. All right, guys, if you could rate this movie 1 out of 100 bubblegum ice cream cones, how many would it be? I personally would probably agree with the audience score and give it about a 90, so maybe in the middle of 85 and 90, or 85 and 95, or excuse me, 82 and 95, which is what the Rotten Tomato score was, just because it blew my brain, took my breath away. As far as the story, I was completely surprised at what this movie actually entailed in the story. And the acting was superb. It was very well done, and there were some pretty high-profile people and actors that played in this movie, so it doesn't surprise me there. But yeah, there's just a lot of really, really good things in this movie, so for sure I would give this a 90. Be sure to leave your comment on what you would give it in the comments below, or message us on Patreon. Thank you guys for listening,